In mathematics, a line is defined as a set of 2 points and all the points between them. We often represent the flow of time using a line like this. The direction from which time has flowed becomes the past, and the opposite direction toward which it goes becomes the future. When you stand on a certain point on this timeline, it creates a base space where our story begins. From that vantage point, a viewpoint space is created where your mind's eye looks, and the place where an event happens or a state changes centered around the viewpoint space is called the event space. Finally, the specific space we are concentrating on at the moment of communication, the core of the story, is called the focus space. Trying to understand English tenses using just a simple timeline has its limits, which is why we usually end up just trying to memorize everything. However, language cannot be mastered by rote memorization alone. If you don't grasp the core principles, you won't be able to apply them in other contexts. When you analyze English tenses through Gilles Fauconnier's mental space theory, everything becomes incredibly clear. Let's look at an example from his book, Mappings in Thought and Language, to see how this works. This sentence uses the simple present tense to convey basic information, that he is currently 30 years old. Here, the base, viewpoint, event, and focus are all located at the present moment. This sentence is in the present perfect tense, showing that an experience or state started in the past still impacts the present. The speaker's reference point, base, and mind's eye, viewpoint, are both in the present, while the actual event of living abroad is located in the past space. However, the core of the story, focus, targets how that past event connects to a present result or experience, so it stays in the present while linking back to the past space. This sentence uses the simple past tense to state a fact by specifying a distinct, disconnected point in the past, in 2019. Although the reference point, base, starts in the present, the time cue, space builder, in 2019, opens up a new past space. As a result, the mind's eye, viewpoint, the actual event of living in Rome, event, and the story's center, focus, all shift together into that 2019 past space. This structure is completely separated from the present, base. This is a future in the past expression, which shows a future plan viewed from a specific past standpoint, the year 2019 when he lived in Rome. The reference point, base, remains in the present. The viewpoint is positioned in the past context of 2020, or just before it in 2019. The move to Venice, event, is created in a future space relative to that past moment. Therefore, the story's focus is locked on to a future viewed from the past, rather than a future viewed from the actual present. This sentence is in the future in the past perfect tense, indicating that his 1-year stay in Rome was completed relative to a past point right before his move to Venice in 2020. The base stays in the present, while the viewpoint moves to a past reference point sometime in 2020, just before the relocation. The event of living in Rome for a year occurred even earlier than this past viewpoint and continued up to it. Thus, the focus forms a triangular dynamic, looking back at the completion of an earlier event from that past reference point, viewpoint. When a sentence deals with the realm of the unreal, such as hypotheticals, wishes, or conjectures, the graph switches from a timeline to a dual structure of a foundation space and an expansion space. The speaker's actual reality, I am not rich, becomes the foundation space, while a new hypothetical world, if I were rich, I would buy, creates the expansion space. TenseGraph by SentenceGraph.com is a tool that analyzes your sentences and visualizes them into graphs just like this. By using this tool to understand the spatial structures and relationships that tenses map out in our brains, the concept of English tenses will become incredibly clear.